Please welcome His Excellency Saeed Al-Nazari, Secretary General, Great Arab Mines.
Hello.
I can do a little thing here. So nice to see you, Your
Nice to
Excellency.
see you.
Thank you so much. So I want to talk to you about your Great Arab Mines, which I was really excited to learn about for our conversation. And this is really your mission to invest in intellectual capital, finding these great, brilliant minds out there in the Arab region that can really help push and propel social progress. And you've had a career that is focused on developing, recognizing, and supporting leaders. So I'd love to hear just more about how come you are pursuing this leadership approach to really solving some of the social challenges we're discussing today.
I think if we gamify what MIT Solve is working on, and somehow if we meant to design a survival game where we solve the world's biggest challenges, the ideal location for that would be the Middle East. Living in a region filled with conflicts over the past 200 years, continuous conflicts, instability, harsh weather, many different opinions on what is a social progress. Your ultimate solution is, your survival solution is to actually build leaders and build characters that can turn this day-to-day problems and day-to-day challenges into solutions. We in the Middle East, that is our day-to-day business, how to turn challenges into solutions. And one aspect is to basically how to lift up the whole generation to look at hope and believe in hope, that they can actually design a better future for themselves, their families, and their communities. And one way to do so is by role models. Looking at the Arab world in terms of history, going back hundreds of years ago, you will find every single Arab proud of his history, of the depth of advancements in science, in engineering, in medicine, algebra, al-Khwarizmi, the names of most of the stars in the sky, the advancements in medicine, the advancements in engineering, the advancements in the technology we use today, many goes back to the years where we call the golden age of the Arab world, where we had people like al-Khwarizmi and many others invent and explore and research about many scientific contributions. Yes, we are proud of that era of our history, but then we shouldn't be stuck there. What we need the most currently is to actually have more living role models. One thing you would notice many people in many areas in the whole world sadly goes into is that we value people when it's a bit too late, when we lose people, when we somehow recognize that their contributions, their research, their advancement was worthy to recognize. It's hard to design memorials, it's hard to write articles, it's hard to do research when we had the opportunity to recognize them when they were alive and around us in our communities. That's something we want to make sure that we do that homework of recognition. And that's why we have the Great Arab Minds, to actually celebrate our living great minds in physics, in chemistry, in science, in engineering, in technology, and have them as the brightest and the most visible role models to generations to come.
And how do you think about leveraging these great minds from all the different backgrounds you just described to really be able to lead in a moment of crisis and to help build resilience in communities, whether it's in the Arab region or globally. How are you thinking about connecting those leaders to being able to solve some of these problems?
So the first step is actually to ensure that they are not hidden gems anymore in our societies. We ensure we turn them into the most visible gems. If you look at numbers worldwide, and I have conducted many surveys with young people on how many role models they can name in physics, in chemistry, in engineering, in technology, in arts and design. Very limited. Sometimes maybe they are either too busy or too humble to be too visible for our young people, but one thing or one step to start with is to introduce young people to these role models, to show them what is possible. We need a compass to tell them what is the ideal scenario if you explore this sort of fields. Who are your role model? Who is your next version of who you are currently? And that's how we have started. We asked universities, we asked communities in the whole Arab world to actually nominate people to be part of the Greater Arab Minds community. Within 1 year time, we have the biggest ever database of nominees in the Arab world. These people are philosophers, these people are authors, entrepreneurs, innovators. We created a network where they can actually work together. We created a network where we made science hot again. We wanted to make sure that as much as we have people who desire to be entrepreneurs, we have also people who desire to be researchers. Last January, it was the first time we award the first batch of winners in the Greater Arab Minds Award. And the winner of the engineering and technology category was an associate professor here at MIT, Fadl Adib. Fadl Adib, born in Lebanon, studied for his final exams, sometimes in the basement, scared from some of the civil wars they were witnessing at that time in Lebanon, made it to be one of the most successful graduates at American University in Beirut and then at MIT. He's among the youngest tenured professor at MIT. He worked on a wireless research and technology that allow people to actually know what happens behind these walls using Wi-Fi signals. His research is used by the world's biggest corporations. Last year, if you ask young people about Fadl Adib, they wouldn't even know him, or wouldn't even know their research, or wouldn't even know in a way where they can work together. Today, if you go and meet many researchers in Lebanon or in the Arab world in general, they would want to be the next Fadl Adib. And that's the impact and the power of this award. And that's just a 1 year time.
Yeah, so thinking about this youth engagement, and in the Arab world, it's about 60% of the population is under 30. We look at the African continent, 70%. So there's a lot of opportunity with youth coming up and engaging them with these potential mentors, but also how you're thinking about mobilizing these young minds to be those future mentors and those future leaders, or leaders now. So how are you thinking about that in building this pipeline of people that can help add to the great minds that you are curating?
So working with young people and with leaders who work with young people worldwide, I have noticed that there are two lenses to look at the sector. There are some people who looks at youth from a problematic point of view, where they look at unemployment rates, they look at housing challenges, they look at how do we actually manage their energy and so on. And then you have the other perspective, where we look at young people as the solution. They are the solution to climate change, to economy, and to stability in general, and also they are the most valuable asset. And I think in the United Arab Emirates, we have a case study in working with young people that ultimately showed its results within a couple of years. In the United Arab Emirates, we have over 6 ministers in the cabinet who are under the age of 38. Almost in every single board of directors in the United Arab Emirates, the government had allocated a seat for young people under the age of 35. We have the Ministry of Youth hiring young people to actually solve their challenges. I think the equation works very well. When you give young people trust, authority, and then a challenges to get busy to solve, the equation is a win-win case every time. The issue, it looks very simple, but then how many governments do you see around the world that would trust to hire a young person as a minister, as an undersecretary, as a board member? I can assure you that's among 5 or 10 governments worldwide.
So in our remaining seconds together, we have a lot of leaders in the room in different stages of their leadership journey. What would be your one quick piece of advice for them on how they can think about some of the lessons you've learned on supporting these leaders that they can bring to their own leadership style?
Maybe I would highlight one point that a great mentor once told me. He spent some time with Nelson Mandela. And he told me, you know what's special about Nelson Mandela? It is his shining eyes. It is the spark in his eyes. The spark that tells you right away when you look at him in his eyes that he is capable of changing the whole world. That he believes with passion in whatever he's doing and in the vision that he has for himself and for his community. And working with many leaders in the region and worldwide, I noticed that the most successful leaders are the people who have that spark in their eyes, that they have a deep belief that they can actually turn their dreams into reality. And to simplify what leadership is, I think the moment you change people's life, the moment you lift up people, and the moment you invest in them and help them find their capabilities, their possibilities, is the moment you would easily notice that spark in their eyes. And if you manage to do that, and if you manage to look at yourself every morning with a belief that you can lift up your community, that you can turn your purpose into reality, it's the moment that you will see also that spark in yourself. Every morning, I look at my 2-year-old daughter, Shemma, at her eyes, asking myself, who is the person I want to become? To make sure I see that eyes shining with joy, passion, and hope. And if we ask ourselves what would make that special person in your life proud, and you turn that spark on, as I think it will be the ultimate guide on what we should work on and what we should accomplish as leaders and as young leaders and as growing leaders.
Right. Well, I think that excellent advice to end on, to find your spark. But thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.